The Chaos Cube update just dropped and I need to build a house using every single new feature it added. New blocks, new mobs, and of course, I'm doing it all in survival. But to make it even more interesting, I give myself a set of goals to hit within the first 100 days. Get a full set of enchanted diamond armor and tools, build all the necessary farms, construct a starter house using the new blocks, and most importantly, don't die. Simple enough, right? Alright, let's go. Wood, crafting table, tools. I'll grab this cobblestone. Oh, and a pocket of coal too. Don't mind if I do. I grab a handful and keep moving. I need to make sure to have a bed to pass the night. I'll come back for the rest later. I really just wasted that wood on that sword, didn't I? Now with better tools in hand, I started collecting resources and hunting every animal I crossed. Even had a wolf buddy helping me take out some sheep. I headed back for more coal and ran into my first hostile mob. Coal is always the one ore I struggle to find, so I grabbed as much as I could. Oh, hi, horse. So I've got a rough idea of what I want the house to look like. Probably something like what you saw in the thumbnail. Anyways, these are the mats I need, and I should honestly start thinking about how far the nearest sulfur springs might be. For now, I'll keep looting whatever I come across, including these roses. After deleting a herd of cows, I got hungry, cooked up some juicy steak, and made a bed. I used the rose to dye the blanket red because, well, I don't know. Skeletons will not be no-scoping me tonight because I am going to sleep. Day 1 is off to a solid start, but there is still a lot to do left. Packed up camp on day 2, no sulfur springs in sight, so there's no point in sticking around. I found some sugarcane and stumbled across a sunken ship. Being the pirate I am, I looted every single chest. First one had an armor trim and a hat. Second one had a map for buried treasure, except the treasure was overseas. No problem though, I just built a boat. Sun started going down, so I slept through the night before setting sail. Remember, always sleep towards the sun. While setting sail the next morning, I came across another sunken ship. Inside, my first diamond, another treasure map, and some gunpowder. I'll save that gunpowder for TNT when I go netherite mining, maybe in a future episode. I spotted a nether portal ruins, dug up one of the treasure chests, and got some decent loot. I came quick though, as my third day was coming to an end. I made a stop just to sleep. I need to find these sulfur springs soon. I'm going to start getting behind on my goals if I don't. Spent most of the day searching for a second treasure chest. Not gonna lie, I struggled. My shovel broke, so I crafted my first iron tool. Eventually found the chest, which contained a little stash of emeralds. I gathered more resources and made iron tools, filled out my armor set, and wow, these sunglasses really do look like bug eyes, huh? There's one issue though. My inventory is filling fast. I'm getting desperate to find sulfur springs and start building so I can empty out everything. So naturally, I'll grab more wood. After collecting enough saplings, I set off again. Woodland mansions are almost impossible to find for me now. I feel like I haven't seen one in forever, at least since the release. My render distance might be chopped, but still. Rose bushes are another thing I need for the house, but my inventory is already packed. Let's ditch the TNT. It's not really a great trade, but I need to stay focused on the goals. Speaking of which, I had no idea sulfur springs were going to be this difficult to find. I've traveled so far by now and I still haven't seen one. I started wondering if my game was even updated. Eventually I kept moving, hoping I'd find one soon. Found another ship with one sad chest and awful loot. And another ship. Ooh, a diamond. Grabbed one of the treasures and found another nether ruins before finally hitting land again. Another full day gone. Still no sulfur springs. This is turning into more of a challenge than I bargained for. But then, you won't believe this. I sailed straight into another ship I had already looted. I took all my frustration out on some pigs, fell off a cliff, broke my legs, and I just slept it off. That night though, I had a crazy dream. In this dream, I used my 7 IQ brain to create a second world with the same seed, teleport to my current coordinates, and ran /locate to find the nearest sulfur springs. Now, is that cheating? Maybe, but it was only a dream, so it doesn't count. And it's not like anybody's watching this, right? The next morning, I followed the dream coordinates. On the way, I passed an absolutely gorgeous mountain, the perfect house location, but I was committed to the sulfur build, so I rolled through the village, got my first bundle, which is massive for inventory management, stole some food, and looted 2 more villages on the way.
Yo, and what's up with these kids here?
Found some blue orchids. They're not really needed for the house, but they're hands down the best flower in the game, so I had to take them. I spotted a witch hut and set my spawn there just in case I died, and she wasn't even home, and later I found out that I never went back for my red bed. RIP. Anyways, hundreds of blocks later, another village, some bales for backup food, and then after traveling what felt like half the world, I finally found it. A sulfur springs. Now I needed a flat piece of land nearby for the house. I almost had enough diamonds for a pick, despite never officially mining or setting up a base, so finding the perfect spot was a bit overdue. But this spot is flat and surrounded by water, which will be easy to build on. I dug a pen for the donkey, Antonio, and got straight to work. By the way, this is my first video, so drop a comment if you're enjoying and let me know what you want to see next. Time to mine. Cow. I I had to dig for a little while, but I eventually broke through into one. Meet my first sulfur buddy. I lit up the whole cave so nothing scary could spawn, grabbed all the iron in sight, and mined sulfur and cinnabar until my pickaxes all broke. Back up at the base, I slept through the night and set up some basic storage.
Before heading back down.
Back in the mines, I found some diamonds and I was out of iron picks, so I had to wait for the furnace to smelt. 1 diamond, one step closer to a set of armor. That cave system was massive, by the way. I spent a whole chunk of time in there before I finally had most of the blocks I needed to begin laying the foundation to the house. The plan, a 3-story house. I wanted it to travel outwards after the first floor. Polished cinnabar on floors 1 and 3, polished sulfur in the middle, in order to make the second floor pop out visually, which is where the front entrance will be. The upside down stairs on the cinnabar walls added a lot of texture. Since I didn't have silk touch yet, I built these dirt staircases so the grass could spread up to where I will eventually put the rose bushes. Here's what the cinnabar and sulfur contrast look like. I think it works pretty well. Pale oak trapdoors are going in eventually too. At the crafting table, I made a diamond pick and eventually crafted way too many iron picks. Not ideal, but we'll need them eventually for deep slate. So right back in the mines we went. I built up the walls and eventually added a temporary staircase for the second floor. I'm choosing not to keep it because I used way too much deep slate and it overwhelms the sulfur, which is the main point of the project. I planted some wheat alongside the house so I would be more prepared for it later. The plan is a wheat field out front. I'm hoping the yellow complements the sulfur on the exterior nicely. I dug out a spot on the bottom floor for the enchanting table. I don't know what it is, but basements really are just the best place for enchanting setups. I got the arches above the windows looking the way I wanted. The second floor will be deep slate to match the walls. First and third floors will be using pale oak as contrast. Outside, I scattered lanterns wherever they were needed to keep away the unwanted roommates. Installed windows. Got the roof looking clean. Whoops, I forgot this part. That started on the third floor, which, I'll be honest, I hadn't fully planned for. I moved to planting the rose bushes while thinking it through. For the shape of the roof, stair, upside down stair, block, repeat. I left a gap in the center for a grand window. At least I'm hoping it'll look grand. Not sure what room this top floor will be quite yet. Probably a bedroom if I had to guess. Either way, ran out of cinnabar and pale oak, so I had to make a quick run to the forest nearby for wood and visit back to the caves. I nearly died to a zombie like an absolute rookie. Also, I scooped my first sulfur cube in a bucket. I'll name him Darnelly. He's family now. As predicted, pale oak trapdoors over the dirt blocks look fine. I added some buttons at the top of each post to break up the deep slate a bit. Threw some extra doors around the big windows just for fun. Looking at it now, it's starting to take shape. Moved the ladder to more of a central spot so each floor will be easier to access. Marked out where the third floor will sit. I had it to build a parkour course every time I needed to access the roof, so finishing it up is a must. I wanted to keep the red cinnabar color scheme going until the very top. I've taken some large steps towards my goals, but still not quite there. I still need diamond armor and tools. I need to finish the house interior, and I still need all the farms. It's about time I move everything inside and start on the interior. Storage is going to be on the second floor, which is where the entrance will be located. I do this because I want all my stuff to be easily accessed. I learned this lesson the hard way in way too many past worlds, and the bed went up on the third floor. Made some layout adjustments up there too. I brought the window down 1 block so the outside view is actually visible. Reorganized the storage, replaced the middle divider with a door,
And then I swapped the... Whoa. What? Was that an arrow? Oh, found you.
swapped the temporary staircase for something slimmer and nicer. Added a small fishing dock as well. I'll say the interior is about 80% complete, but I'll finish the rest later. Now, farms. I want each one sunk 1 block into the ground with a deep slate fence around it. Nothing fancy, just functional for now. I built one for Antonio the donkey too. He was actually too fat to jump over the fence, so I had to improvise. But all the animals settled in, planted a variety of crops, and headed to the nearest lava pool for enough obsidian for an enchanting table and nether portal. Back at the house, I crafted the full set of diamond armor and tool set and nearly got blown up by a creeper. Now I needed to focus on gaining just a few more XP levels. I need at least 30 to get the best enchantments. But before enchanting, I wanted the interior to feel a little bit more lived in. Chandelier, potted flowers, carpet, and more. Then I sat down and enchanted everything. I didn't get the most insane options, but it's a solid start. Here's the before and after. Also, shout out to anybody who spotted this rose bush I missed on the side of the house. After a few more touch-ups, I built up the nether portal. Everybody say hi to Darnelly in the comments. He's now officially the door greeter and punching bag. Fully enchanted diamond armor and tools. Check. All the farms. Check. Starter house built with the new chaos cubed blocks. Check. Alive. Check. And with that, every goal for this episode is done. Subscribe and help a brother out. See ya.